Video games and comics, a match made in heaven. Or it should be. Despite the fact that comic books, looking from the outside in, should in theory provide the best foundation for a video game, oftentimes that's not the case. For every game like Marvel's Spider-Man, there's an equally terrible game like Marvel's Iron Man. But this isn't a dig at Marvel, arguably DC has a worse history when it comes to their video games. Sure, the Arkham series of games are instant classics, but Superman 64 and Aquaman Battle for Atlantis prove just how little some game developers care about their audience. Assuming you read the title of this video, I'll be looking at characters from DC that should have their own video game and how their video games could work. Now the DCU, from all the information we have at this point, is going to have their own video games set within the DCU itself, meaning that the stories told in these games will be part of the history and world building for this new universe. This comes with its own good and bad points, like restricting how certain stories can be told, but some advantages is that we can expand secondary or supporting characters, or even explain a background event in more detail. Take the idea of Superman game set in his earlier career, before the time of the movie as an example. That being said, let me know what characters you think should get their own video game in the comments below, and if it made the list. Now, let's get on with it.
What the
Host acquired.
Who said that?
System.
BlueBeetle made his live-action debut in the 2023 movie, giving audiences their first real look at Jaime Reyes and the alien scarab. While that story isn't canon to the new DCU, the actor Solo Maradona will continue in the role, which makes the character an ideal candidate for a single-player video game. Jaime has appeared in ensemble titles like Injustice 2 and LEGO Batman 3, but he's never had a game dedicated solely to his journey. A standalone adventure could finally spotlight his unique blend of teenage perspective and alien technology, while also expanding the DCU's lore, exploring the Reach, the Scarab's origin, and the family importance in Palmyra City. The best format for a BlueBeetle game would follow the God of War model, third-person, cinematic, and deeply character-driven. Players would blend Jaime's hand-to-hand agility with Kajida's evolving arsenal, arm blades, energy blast, shields, and flight. The Scarab itself could act as both a weapon wheel and a narrative companion, growing with Jaime as their bond strengthens. Exploration could alternate between cityscapes, alien worlds, and magical dimensions with puzzles and traversals shaped by the Scarab's adaptive technology. Like the film, the game should emphasize Jaime's family as his emotional anchor, grounding the spectacle in heart. Done right, this wouldn't just be BlueBeetle's first true solo outing in gaming, it could also serve as a cornerstone for the DCU's expansion into interactive storytelling. The Shadowpact. The Shadowpact has always been one of DC's stranger teams, formed almost by accident when Enchantress, Ragman, and Detective Chimp decided someone had to stand up to the Spectre during the Day of Vengeance. Joined by Nightmaster, Nightshade, and Blue Devil, they become an odd mix of mystics and misfits operating out of the Oblivion Bar and fighting the kinds of battles the Justice League wouldn't even notice. The combination of occult weirdness and underdog grit makes them a perfect fit for a video game that embraces strategy, personality, and the unpredictable nature of magic. A tactical RPG styled after Marvel Midnight Suns could showcase everything that makes the Shadowpact unique. Each character brings wildly different mechanics, Ragman siphoning power from the souls in his suit, Nightshade creating portals to reposition enemies, or Enchantress risking backlash every time she casts a spell. Detective Chimp wouldn't win fights with brute force, but with tactical support and sharp one-liners that shift the flow of battles. Missions could alternate between urban streets, cursed ruins, and full-on magical wars, with turn-based card-driven combat that emphasizes teamwork and improvisation. Between fights, the Oblivion Bar could act as a social hub where players upgrade spells, research artifacts, and navigate the uneasy alliances that keep the team together. A Shadowpact game wouldn't just bring DC's magical side into the spotlight, it would let players experience the thrill of winning impossible battles with the most unlikely squad in the DCU. MisterMiracle might be one of the most natural fits for a DC video game. Created by Jack Kirby, Scott Free is the ultimate escape artist, raised on Apocalypse, defying Darkseid, and turning every trap into a performance. Later, Shiloh Norman steps into the role, bringing the Miracle name into a modern context and carving out his own identity. Between them, you've got a character who already feels built for a video game, one that can mix stealth, puzzle solving, and cinematic exploration is something fresh for the DCU. Gameplay could pull from the best: the traversal of Assassin's Creed, the puzzle design of Portal, and the tomb-like challenges of Shadow of the Tomb Raider. As Scott, players could break through the most elaborate traps on Apocalypse, using arrow discs, the mother box, and improvisation to survive. Shiloh would balance this out with Earth-based missions, high-tech prisons, urban environments, and covert infiltrations, where timing and precision matter most. The dual structure would not only highlight the legacy of MisterMiracle, but gives the DCU an organic way to position Shiloh as the face of the mantle going forward. Framed inside the DCU, a game like this could expand the cosmic side while keeping ties to Earth, showing how Scott and Shiloh fit into the bigger universes without needing a movie to do the heavy lifting. It's smart, stylish, and different, the kind of experience that would stand out in DC's new era of interconnected games.
No, this is getting lame. I thought he'd be here by now.
Lobo. Lobo's the kind of DC character who feels almost built for video games. He's violent, over the top, and completely unpredictable, which is probably why fans have loved him since the 90s when Simon Bisley's art made him stand out as DC's wildest anti-hero. The main man isn't just another bounty hunter. He's the guy who wiped out his entire planet and then rode off into space looking for the next fight. And now, with Jason Momoa set to play him in the upcoming Supergirl movie, there's never been a better time to bring Lobo into the DCU spotlight with a game of his own. The gameplay pitch here is simple. Take the Nemesis system from Shadow Mordor and turn it loose on the galaxy. Every contract becomes personal, with alien gangsters and rival hunters, and crime warlords remembering the way you beat them last time and coming back for revenge. It's worth pointing out that there was a Wonder Woman game once planned to use the same system, but it never got off the ground. Lobo is the perfect chance to bring it back, only louder, bloodier, and funnier. Mix in some of the brutal combat from God of War, complete with chain hook kills and messy bathroom brawls, and you got a game that feels just as insane as the character himself. Throw in the Space Hawk for planet hopping chaos, and it practically writes itself.
かほどにも効かんわい。お前はもう死んでいる。何？もうは匠できれぶ。
The Peacemaker. Peacemaker has gone from one of DC's forgotten Charlton acquisitions to a headliner thanks to the Suicide Squad film and his own HBO Max series. John Cena's take on Christopher Smith gave the character a second life, turning him into a loud, violent, but oddly sympathetic mess of contradictions. He's a man who will blow apart half a platoon in the name of peace, then break down when confronted with his own failures. The tension, half action hero, half disaster, is exactly why he makes sense as the center of a modern video game. Peacemaker game could sit right at the crossroads of Gears of War and Borderlands. From Gears, you borrowed a heavy cover-based gunplay, brutal firefights where you feel the kick of every rifle, and the weight of diving behind concrete. From Borderlands, you take the chaotic loot system, unpredictable gear. Imagine helmets functioning as your loot rolls. One might scramble enemy comms, another might let out concussive shockwave. Another might backfire spectacularly at the worst possible time. Add procedurally generated firearms and mods that range from useful to absurd, and you got gameplay that constantly mirrors Peacemaker's unstable trial and error approach to heroics. What makes this more than just another shooter is how the mechanics reflect the character. Peacemaker isn't sleek or reliable, he's trying to be a hero with tools and instincts that constantly betray him. That loop, swapping out strange gear, improvising in firefights, failing forward, parallels his whole story. Every encounter becomes not just about mowing down enemies, but about stumbling toward growth, the same way Chris Smith stumbles towards redemption in the series. The supporting cast from the show helps give structure and variety. Hardcore could serve as your mission handler, grounding you with the no-nonsense tactical objectives. Economos could act as your upgrade vendor, handing out stranger and stranger mods. Vigilante, he's your chaotic AI partner or co-op companion, doubling down the absurdity in every mission. Together, they keep the game rooted in the dysfunctional family dynamic that made the show click, while still letting the player fully step into Peacemaker's steel helmet. At its core, this game would lean into everything that makes Peacemaker a fan favorite right now. Heavy, explosive action, absurd, unpredictable gear, and a protagonist who's equal parts lethal, pathetic, and endearing. It's the kind of mix that feels like it could only work in games, and exactly the way to cement Peacemaker as more than just a supporting player in the DC universe. The thing with these new DC games is that they don't always need to reinvent the wheel. Sometimes it's just about pairing the right character with the right style of gameplay. BlueBeetle works because of the tech, Shadowpact because magic and team dynamics make for something we don't often see, Lobo because he's chaos in a way no other hero can touch. Peacemaker, because his mess of a personality, actually fits perfectly with a hybrid shooter, and you can scale the thinking out across the whole universe. There's a lot that could work if DC leaned into variety instead of just playing it safe. But for now, if you want more, I'd point you to my Brainiac 5 video. Most people only see him as the Legion's genius, but his history is full of arrogance, tragedy, redemption, and in many ways, that makes him one of DC's most interesting characters. If you're curious about the Legionnaire, who deserves more recognition, that's the one to check out. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always, take care and have an awesome day.